All right, and now we are going to look at the last question before you begin your student page. So, in this question, Miss Styles runs less than a mile with her dogs every morning. Once again, if I am looking at less than a mile, I'm looking at a fractional amount. So, it's not going to be more than a whole. The next part states that Miss Styles runs less than a mile with her dogs every morning, and then she runs the trail for part of the run, and the rest of the run is spent running on the sidewalk. So I'm looking at two different things. I'm looking at the part of the run on the trail, and I'm looking at the part of the run on the sidewalk. But still, she's still running less than a mile with her dogs. So Miss Styles runs a little bit less of a mile with her dogs every morning. She runs on the trail for 2/5 of a mile, and the rest of the run is spent on the sidewalk. What part of the run does she spend running on the sidewalk? So I'm looking at the remaining amount. I'm trying to figure out how much is left over from the amount of time she runs minus the time she runs on the trail. So once again, this problem is going to be subtraction. So I'm subtracting her time minus the trail so I can see what time is on the trail versus what time is on the sidewalk. So now I know that Miss Styles runs 7/10 of a mile with her dog every morning. She then runs on the trail for 2/5 of the mile, and the rest of the run is spent running on the sidewalk. What part of the run does she spend running on the sidewalk? So in this case, I am looking at her whole amount of time, which is the 7/10 of a mile, minus the 2/5 that she spends running on the trail to equal how much she runs on the sidewalk. So, like before, I am going to draw my box. I'm going to partition it into tenths. Shade in my 7/10. All right, so now in this case, I have 7/10, but I don't have fifths to take away. So I also have to figure out how to take away my 2/5, and I still have to go back and I still need to change that into a fraction with a like denominators as the tenth. So over to the side, I need to figure out, or I need to draw my fifths, not as to take away from something, but just to figure out, well, what is the equivalence of 2/5 in tenths? So I'm going to draw my 2/5, and then I'm going to partition it, and now I know that 2/5 is equal to 4/10. So my new equation is 7/10 minus 4/10. So now I can take away my 4/10. So this is minus 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10. So my remaining answer is 3/10. Okay. Questions? If you have, well, you're not in class. If you have any questions, please leave them down below for Google Classroom, or you can wait until Friday and we will meet on Zoom. All right, for classwork today, you have 6 questions. Your questions will look better than mine. It's just the iPad doesn't format it correctly. Like before, I will go over these 6 questions at the beginning of the lesson on Monday. Yeah, whenever I put up the next lesson. They are attached in Google Classroom as well as on Miss Styles' website. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me on Google Classroom. All right, have a good day.